Chat, how do we fix this problem? Not what I'm showing on the screen. This is just for you guys. No, how do we fix this problem?
The internet is buzzing with outrage as stores are selling fake fruits. Shoppers have reported finding watermelons with skins that peel off like stickers and don't break easily, resembling rubber. Ari Osborne shared a video detailing her experience with what she believed were organic blueberries from Whole Foods. When she disposed of some in the garbage disposal, she heard an unusual sound. Upon investigation, she discovered a blueberry that wouldn't break apart and appeared to be made of rubber.
Go in the drain and there's a blueberry that's not breaking apart. It's not doing anything. It's what's making the noise.
She expressed her frustration, wondering why a rubber blueberry was found in her toddler's snack. Others have confirmed similar experiences, with some suggesting these might be 3D printed foods, similar to 3D printed meat. One user claimed to have bought a fake banana from Costco, while another reported a suspicious watermelon from Sam's Club. The authenticity and safety of fruits are being called into question by many concerned consumers.
Why did she throw blueberries down the garbage disposal in the first place? Second of all, the image that she showed of the blueberry that wasn't breaking apart, that doesn't even look like a blueberry.
Expressed her frustration, wondering why a rubber...
That looks like a piece of rubber that was stuck inside of your fucking garbage disposal. Why? That's not a blueberry. I don't know what to tell you. No shit, it's not breaking apart. This is not a blueberry. Rubber fruit on Etsy. I mean, I'm sure that a big number of people that are pushing this stuff at this point, that are drama farming this, are going and buying fake fruit on the internet to milk the content. But it started with content like this.
Experiences, with some suggesting
this avocado one, I think, was like the first one.
These might be 3D printed.
But you can see that the avocado is like breaking apart because it's still an avocado. It's just not ripe yet. That's an avocado that you have to leave out for a little bit before you eat it. What the fuck? I supervise a produce department at my local Costco. If a member asks me if fruit is made out of rubber, I'm going to go home early. My mom sent me that TikTok and now she's freaking out. Oh my God, dude. What the fuck? It would cost more to make a fake avocado than to purchase a real one? Oh, I saw that, Marianne. It's either unripe or it's frozen and then fully thawed. And then thawed fruit, yeah. Replacing one blueberry in 100 is all part of the grand plan. Yeah. Yeah. This is even dumber than the chemtrail one. Yeah, and here's some more of the... Here we go. Here's the avocado one.
You watch these TikTok videos right here and you're like my sister questioning whether or not the government is poisoning us, then this video is most definitely for you. Now, ultimately speaking, the three that are showing up on TikTok the most are bananas, avocados, and watermelons, but we can commonly see this in so many different other fruits and vegetables. And it actually comes down to three different factors. First one being excessive amounts of plastic inside of your fruits and vegetables. Half the crowd just was like, goodbye. Anyway, so when it comes to texture,
Oh, this is the other one. GMOs change the way that foods age, obviously. We would rather have foods that age in a slightly weirder way than have foods that age immediately after you fucking pluck them off the vine. So there are certain foods that, like, they get mushy in a weirder way than, like, an organic fruit might. Because it's got to stay fresh on shelves. Yeah. You have to, in order to have fruits and vegetables that can sit on a shelf for a long time, there are going to be certain things that you're going to do, right? And then it changes like the composition of the thing. It's not that they're putting rubber in. It's that they change the way that it ages. And when it ages differently, it going to break apart differently. The second one, obviously, is that there's fucking microplastics in everything. There's going to be some microplastics in your fruit. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's in your balls, dude. Like, you really don't think it's in a banana?
We use something called a penetrometer. The Geek Crew, and if you want to join the Geek Crew, it's literally just hitting that subscribe button down there. Costs you absolutely nothing but pure enjoyment. Oh, it doesn't cost you enjoyment. Well, I mean, it might cost you enjoyment. I don't know. So, penetrometer is stuck into the fruit and vegetable to determine what texture it is or the density of the texture to tell you whether or not you're going to like the fruit.
Penetrometer. Also known as my dick.
Or vegetable. And there are 3 things that ultimately affect how that rolls out. Okay, so number 1 is actually cell wall modification. Now, this sounds scary and it sounds GMO and hokey pokey, but it's really not. What it actually comes down to is what the plant naturally does as it begins to ripen. So we know there's a trigger point between where you can harvest and it won't ripen properly, get some storage out of it and it will ripen properly. And then obviously what we do here in our gardens is allow it to go almost into deterioration mode and then consume it. And this is what is in most cases the best flavor and the best texture. Now, cell wall modification is a fancy term for essentially as a tomato or a watermelon becomes ripe, these cells themselves, the cells begin to decompose in a sense and almost explode and deteriorate, which makes the texture of said watermelon more tasty, much easier, crumbly in your mouth, if you will. And a great example of this is actually peaches, nectarines, plums, things like that. Peach, for example, that is not yet ripened. It's really hard, the texture.
Have you guys had a pear that wasn't ripe? I bought a bunch of pears. I was like, yo, I want some fucking pears. Went to the store, bought some pears, went to chew one of the pears, and I was like, oh, it's not ripe at all. It was like rock hard, didn't taste like anything. And it was almost like grainy, like it was not good. And I was like, I guess I fucked up, whatever. I left the pears out for like 3 days and I was like, wait, the pears are good now. Oh my God, it was like dripping in my hands in like 3 days. I was like, yo, this shit ripened. Hell yeah. I know, fruit ripens when you just keep it. It's crazy. Crazy. I feel like it's happened so many times for me that I leave fruit out, but then it gets like moldy first. Does anyone have this happen? Where like it gets bruises before I get to eat it. Like I want to eat it at the sweet spot when it's ripe, but not past that point where it starts decomposing. And I feel like I always miss that window. And so I try to like eat it before then first. Your place is too hot. Maybe, honestly, that's probably it. You're totally right, actually.
It's totally off. But if you wait, it gets kind of mushy.
You heard of the bananas that are artificially ripened? They ripen so fast that the quality and taste and texture is shit. That makes sense, yeah.
Melt in your mouth, delicious. And this is because of cell wall deterioration. Essentially, things are just falling apart, and that's what makes things a little bit more gummy. It's like Mother Nature's way of pre-chewing it and feeding us like we're little baby birds.
A better example is cooking meat. Yes, Strawman. If you eat meat, or if you try and chew on meat that it has not been cooked thoroughly, it's like rubbery. It's like you can't rip it. But guess what? When you cook it, make it a little tender, it should fall apart. Same shit. The same shit happening with the fucking fruit cells.
2 is actually turgor pressure. So essentially what turgor pressure is, the process of water being uptaken.
Exactly, big boy Xanos, fucking exactly.
Taken into something called a vacuole. The vacuole is inside of a cell, and the cell on the outside of your plants is almost like a balloon. The vacuole inside is a balloon inside of said balloon, and the vacuole will shrink and increase as water comes into and out of the plant. So
I love the TikTok she put. It feels like I'm watching Subway Surfer on the side. Fake watermelon, question mark?
If a plant is uptaking a lot of water, it begins to expand, which in turn kind of expands the outer balloon. When the plant loses too much water, the vacuole will collapse, and then in turn, the cell wall will collapse with it. Now, remember how cell walls are very important in the process of making a firm fruit or vegetable or plant? Well,
What was I supposed to be seeing in that last TikTok? Was the fruit that she fingered, was that the fruit that went bad, or was it the other one that looked I
well, if the cell walls have not deteriorated yet, that obviously causes issues. But if the cell walls aren't allowed to expand to the amount that they need to make said texture, the said texture that we want, you're going to end up with a plant that's not too delicious. Now, because
Also, can I just say one other thing? I love the idea that making fake fruit that almost looks like fruit and acts like fruit but isn't fruit is both A, easy, and B, makes sense to do. Like, why would first of all, you are underestimating how difficult it would be to engineer a plastic fruit that can trick people into thinking they're eating real fruit. You're vastly underestimating the difficulty in that task. Second, why? Why would they do that? What's the what?
plants and, watermelons, it's a great, it's in the name. There's a ton of water inside of these things. So because vacuoles are so reliant on water,
And yet, even though it was frozen, that makes the veggies rubbery. The cell walls have broken and the fiber is the only thing holding itself in place. Why is this frozen thing that I froze being rubbery?
if water is limited, such as a drought season or really high heats where you just simply couldn't ever apply enough water, we tend to get vacuoles that are shrunken and therefore a cell wall that is also shrunken and just something that doesn't have a lot of juice in it. So that's number one. Number two is the opposite of that. And sometimes we see this in the garden, and that's when a tomato plant fills their vacuoles up too much because we keep on giving them water, and eventually they split. And you'll see this every once
What is this TikTok? Fake
in a while.
avocado
That is a
hashtag
vacuole
fake.
cell walls that have begun to expand past the level that they're meant to, and ultimately cause rips and tears inside of the fruit or vegetable. Now, as a producer, you're trying to aim somewhere in between the two because obviously both ends of the spectrum don't yield you much money and kind of turns people off from wanting to eat bananas. Now, keep in mind that water also moves around carbohydrates and nutrients and all that fun stuff throughout the entire plant. And if we're in a drought or we have lack of water,
Dude, Americans are so psyopable. They are. You're right. You're fucking right, dude. You're fucking right, man. You're no better proof than this post. Can't get a job, house, or a girlfriend thanks to Biden. Chad, is this real? Did Biden stop me from getting a girlfriend? Was this Biden's fault, actually?